It's lights out and away we go!
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the GT UK F1 podcast. I'm joined by Alan.
Hello.
And David.
Hey, everyone.
So, the Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix. Or Bahrain.
Bahrain works better for
Yes.
most people.
So it's the usual. Unfortunately, none of us actually caught practice. We have heard little snippets from practice. Like Alonso's steering wheel falling off.
Literally.
Well,
He
they
didn't fall off, he came off in his hand.
yeah, but they had to change the steering column, didn't they, in the end?
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah, they changed the whole steering column. It must because they're on like a quick release, aren't they, to take them in and out for getting in and out of the car and everything.
Mm.
So I'm guessing just whatever mechanism holds it in place, just a clip, must have failed.
Yeah.
I have seen the video clip of it coming off, and it was just,
Yeah, I
it was
have.
just like, okay, try and get back on and turn.
Luckily, there was a bit of runoff area and didn't end up
Yeah.
in a wall.
Hmm.
And memories back to Kimi. Was it? It was Baku, wasn't it? Calling for the steering wheel. It was being wheeled down the pit lane.
Yeah. Steering wheel. Hey, give it a steering wheel.
Quite important.
Yeah. I see they had a lot of the
A lot of rookies out now. Do you
rookies
think
out in
Bahrain's a track the
FP1?
drivers know well because it's a pre-season there. So it's actually probably a good place to like let some of the main drivers sit back.
Yeah, but why? Now, don't get me wrong. Why Albon and not? Why not have put it in Albon's car rather than Sainz's car? Because it was
Luke Browning in that car. Yeah.
Browning that was in Sainz's car. Now, if Sainz wants to get to grips with that car, he should have had more track time than
I'm
Albon.
assuming it's pre-agreed a deal, and there'll be somewhere later on in the season where
Somebody will get Albon's car.
Albon will stop back. I've told you, if it was up to me, every rookie would have to do one race. Every driver would have to sit out one race weekend. And let a rookie drive a car. You could pick which one you wanted. I mean, you have 20 new guys at fucking Monaco. You know what I mean? Imagine you made that part of the championship, and it's not unfair on any one driver because everyone it applies to.
Mm.
You can pick the race, but for one entire race weekend, a rookie has to drive that car.
Yeah.
Gives them track time, gives them experience. Yeah, you could argue for the championship contenders they lose points, but over a season it would average out because they'd all have to do it.
Because you had
Because giving them like practice one's one thing, but that doesn't give them actual race experience.
no.
You know, pit stops under pressure, safety cars.
Because you had Drugovic.
I'm not going to try and pronounce some of these because I will upset some people.
Well, you had Drugovic in
Drugovic
it.
I can pronounce.
You had Drugovic.
Audi I can pronounce.
You had Drugovic, obviously, in
After mine.
And only just behind
Alonso's. Yeah, but
behind Stroll by the end
that's
of
the
it.
thing. In Alonso's Aston Martin, it should have been in Stroll's Aston Martin.
And there's anybody who's got plenty of experience, let's be honest, it's good old Fernando.
Yeah, well, true. But you had Vesti
He's one of the few
in.
drivers there older than the track.
You had Vesti in Russell's Mercedes.
Which is understandable.
You had Awasa in Max's car.
Red Bull, wasn't it?
Mm.
Which
Because one understandable give Yuki more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had Bogdanovic in Leclerc's car.
Yep.
Once again, makes sense.
And is that it?
No, you had
Hirakawa.
Oh, you had Hirakawa in
Looks like
Lemons.
Lemons. Now, why Behrman?
Maybe Ocon, for some reason, really didn't want to sit down. But, yeah, like I say, there's all manner
Because
maybe this is a circuit that Behrman feels more confident at. He's driven here before. He's maybe done a bit of more F2, F3 here.
True.
You know, at the end of we don't know the procedure that goes into how they pick these things. So there could be, like I say, I assume it sort of works out that both drivers have to sit out.
Oh, both drivers will have
the
to
same
sit
number of
out a certain number of races, but
some of them are practice sessions. Sorry.
well, yeah, but it makes me wonder as well that the fact that was Max's little problems. I mean, this is conspiracy theories. Max's little problems
You hear the
are
tinfoil rustling in the background, ladies and gentlemen.
linked with maybe a worse driving.
I just think Red Bull this year are struggling. Red Bull this year are not there yet.
Oh, I believe they're in crisis. I believe there's been a meeting been held today. And
although I will come to a little bit later on reasons why I don't think it's as big a panic as some are making it out to be, but
a certain doctor, shall we say?
Dr. Nick.
There has been another little bit of news that's been circulating around that the FIA are considering bringing back the V10s on sustainable fuel from 2026. It's been put through the council.
I don't believe it for 1 second, I'm sorry.
It's been put through the FIA council.
I still don't believe it.
That was words from them, not me picking off some fucking fan site. That has been words from the FIA.
Look, they'll look at lots of things, but I get the sustainable fuel. I think that is what we're going to do, but they won't go back to bigger engines because they'll try and push more. How much more environmentally friendly the smaller engine can be, and
but that's not. I mean, trust me. If bloody Susie Wolf runs for it, she overturns him, this sport will change. Because this sport is a fucking joke. It is. It's an absolute joke. WRC. You heard there was protests from the WRC as well?
World Rally Championship?
Yes. Because of the FIA. There is literally protests over what Mr. FIA President had been trying to enforce upon them as well. They protested. Now, if F1 protested as well, F2, F3, F1 Academy, anything linked with the FIA, there would be an absolute shit show on for the FIA right now.
Yep.
And I don't understand why F1 and that lot aren't making a stand. They can see the WRC have done it. Other sports, I believe, have joined the WRC in unison. And yeah, the FIA is falling apart because, okay, the breaking news out of the Bahrain Grand Prix was the vice president resigned.
Yeah, I heard that.
He resigned. It's like that organisation is completely crumbling. And it is because of one man. Clearly, from the statement he'd given, it proves it is because of Mohammed bin Saleh. Soapbox has already come out.
Haven't we noticed?
He resigned on the 10th of April.
Yeah. And
He was resigned after citing a standards breakdown.
point proven. Point proven. Because, you know, I mean,
When I took on this role, it was to serve the FIA members, not to serve power. Over time, I have witnessed a steady erosion of the principles we promised to uphold. Decisions are being made behind closed doors, bypassing the very structure and people the FIA exists to represent.
yeah,
And that's his words direct.
exactly. And it's proven a point. And I don't know, obviously, if you saw build up.
Not a lot of it, no, only literally like 5 minutes before the race.
Do you see the grid walk at all?
No.
You want about when Brundle went to talk to somebody and somebody wasn't very happy he was talking to him, tried to push him out the way towards the end.
Yes. That's my exact point.
He was talking. I can't remember who he was trying to talk to, but he was also talking to Chris Harris.
Yeah, Harris is following him around, but doing something on him. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but yeah, towards the end.
Basically, the guy who had the checkered flag at the end. I cannot remember his name.
Oh, Dominicali, wasn't it?
No.
No, I went to McCartney.
It wasn't Dominicali. You'd know Dominicali. It was some.
It was ex-Ferrari top brass, wasn't he?
Was it not Luke or somebody? Anyways, but yeah.
De Montezemolo.
Something like that. But yeah, towards the end of that interview, Martin just got badged by him, by the FIA president himself. Live on TV. You saw it. And it's like, well, Martin may be a pundit now. He was a race driver.
Yeah.
This, Ben Saleh, the FIA president, supposed to be an ex-racing driver. Something doesn't quite add up to me. There's no respect. He's mad on power. He's
a Simpsons movie joke here.
I know we've gone off on the track here, but literally gone off, and we're going we'll be going towards bloody Abu Dhabi at this point. But it's just he needs to go. He does. He needs to go. Somebody needs to step in, like Susie Wolff. And like I said, she would turn the sport back around. And I bet you, hell, a lot more people would respect her. Because look what she's done. Look what she's done with the F1 Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's not got a fucking clue. He really hasn't. The whole swearing thing. Did we ever find out if Carlos got fined again?
No,
for turning around and saying shit happens? Literally, because he even admitted, I think I'm going to get fined for this, but shit happens.
Quite literally in his case.
That fine was ridiculous. Stupid. I mean, to be honest, if he got fined again, I don't think at this point, I don't think he cares. Because he's been fined, he'd been fined for something really stupid. This is from an organisation. Wow, he was 5 seconds late on to an anthem. What would have been more disrespectful? The fact that he'd shit himself on the national anthem? I know that was a previous Grand Prix, but what would be more disrespectful in your eyes?
No, I agree.
It depends how he did it, I suppose.
No, but you know what I mean? What would have been more disrespectful?
Broadcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Him being late, or the fact that he could possibly have been caught shitting himself live on the fucking grid? The FIA just need to get a fucking grip. The mind boggles at how they're working at the moment. And we'll come on to that now. So who wants to take qualifying? Give me a breather.
Let's let Alan lead it off.
All right.
Oh, well, thank you. Qualifying. What a shit show. Where do I start?
It was on to the race.
Yeah. So, mad confusion. Obviously, start off with Q1.
Yeah, good place.
Yeah. Bit of a shot to see Berman down the bottom. Very shot to see Berman come last.
And this
he's been driving that house really well.
Yeah, but this is what I'd said about track time in FP1.
Obviously, the biggest shock was Albon. Bear with me. Being knocked out in Q1.
Especially when
Sainz find out he should have actually made it through.
Now,
which they didn't find out until Q3. And the reason that is a lot of bullshit.
And let's also remember during Q2 was stopped for a red flag.
Yep.
Because Ocon binned it.
A scarily close place to the famous Grosjean incident.
Yeah.
He was on the opposite
he went the other side of the track, but it was the same sort of point, and to see a Haas go off in that area of the track again, still a bit.
And 5 years ago that it happened.
Oh yeah.
I know.
No.
That car was apparently on display in London not that long ago because he had the F1.
Yeah, it was the experience.
Yeah.
No.
I can give you the FIA's explanation.
I know one of the FIA's reasons.
Was the reason it wasn't done straight away was they had no camera.
That was
that particular one.
Yeah, that was
I'm not being funny. If you're going to put a corner that's got track warning. Now I know it's now a blue line.
And a white line.
Yeah, well, it's now a blue line on there.
It's white and blue.
Yeah, if you go with the blue, then that's when they're saying
that's track limit. Yeah,
track limit. Now, if you've got a place where you can have track limits, you're going to want that camera there.
The problem was,
why didn't they have a fucking camera there in the first place?
Did they have a camera? No. Did they have a camera there, or was it malfunctioning?
They're saying there was not a camera placed there, which is why they done it manually.
Which it then had to go back to fucking Geneva or wherever the fuck it was.
Yep, which is why it took so long, because somebody had to review all the data correctly first. And that's why it took so long to come back. Which, I'm not being funny, as I said, you can have a camera there to monitor track limits.
Yeah.
There's no point putting track limits on a particular corner and not have a camera there to be able to monitor it live as it happens.
Yeah.
Because then things like this happen.
Oh, to me, you could go one better, which is always been my opinion on this. Go to where because you can GPS track accurate enough. By the odd issue, if we want to during the race, I will grant you. To the point where the whole track can become track limits eligible. And the GPS can pick up, well, that car's off the track.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that system's flawless, but clearly the camera system isn't flawless because stood here complaining about it.
But the thing is, Williams can't do anything about it now. Williams couldn't have couldn't do anything about it either.
No, it was too late, because if it had been done at the time, chances are Albon would have got into Q2.
Albon would have been in Q2.
Albon would have been in Q2 because Hulkenberg at that time deleted, which put him 16th, which would have promoted Albon to P15, which would have put him into Q2. So there's that possibility Albon could have actually made it into Q3 because he had the pace.
Oh, he did. But unfortunately, yet again, a dysfunctional organisation didn't do things correct.
If you heard Crofty, well, he was not happy. And you could hear it in his voice. Even Bundle, you could hear it in their voices.
Oh, yeah.
Devastated they are. Like, pissed off they are about it.
It's just... Because, Williams couldn't have even appealed because by the time the decision came in...
It was too late to appeal.
Yeah.
It was too late anyways because Q3 had already begun. Yeah. It's not like they could have delayed Q3.
Oh, this is, how much I hate. When it was announced during the race that Zerny will be discussed after the race, first thing I said to Shell was, oh, great. So I have to get up tomorrow and hear the result. I hate decisions made later. I really do.
It's stupid. But the rest of qualifying was pretty good.
It's a shame for Ocon to bin it quite spectacularly.
Yeah.
And what damage to the back of the car.
That Alpine or Gasly was on fire.
Yeah. Gasly was driving the nuts off that Alpine.
And then obviously the
Norris
for Russell and Antonelli.
Norris didn't have the pace.
No. He did and he didn't. He knew he made a few mistakes on certain parts of the track. He had the pace in the car. It was just getting all together on that basically.
Oh yeah, and the fact that obviously as well Russell and Antonelli getting that penalty because they went on the estimated resumption time, not the actual resumption time. Which is a bit of a
release them too early.
Which is a bit of a oops from the people that were.
Well, normally Mercedes has a particular person who.
He wasn't
there. So
he wasn't there because he wasn't there. He wasn't there because his son was getting married.
Yeah.
I love the idea that one person was away, so they just didn't bother to check these things.
Well, clearly they probably did, but it missed them. It slipped them, and that's what... I mean, okay, and this is the thing.
Hang on, but if that's the case, okay, now hear me out.
Should have been fined. The team should have been fined, not the drivers losing places.
It wasn't technically just those two that went out.
No, it wasn't.
It's also Hulkenberg.
He must have been just late enough to be the other side of the
resumption.
He must suggest.
Yeah,
when they were sat there, he then came out because the whole cell of Kick Sauber were looking. It's like, what's going on? Why? And then he said, "Hang on, they've gone early," but they still followed out straight after. So why wasn't he done as well?
Like we said, maybe he did.
Maybe he was just late enough that the class is having an official time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he probably didn't get done. But yeah, again, it's like I say, dysfunctional. No, the consistency's not already. The consistency's not here. There's too much of, falling back into old ways. Like the end of the season, they were pretty tight up on penalties and stuff like that. And then I kind of get the Russell thing after the race, but I'll come on to that when we get there.
If we ever get there.
We will get there.
I mean, as I said, the one thing that really stands out to me in qualifying
Oscar.
was obviously Gasly was not Oscar. It was actually Piastri in that Alpine. He may not have got the pole position, but he, for an Alpine that hasn't scored points up to this point, has done very well.
I mean, doing 11th isn't a bad performance either. Well, there's still only 4 races in, let's remember.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Aston Martin's... Yeah, I don't know. Don't know with Aston Martin at the minute. Hamilton, 9th. Okay, he's still learning, but from a 7-time world champion, hit and miss.
I mean, Carlos getting it into 8th in that Williams.
Yeah, Carlos been up there.
Right in front of Hamilton's just a big. Is just like.
And Carlos had a couple of good. Yeah, I've no doubt Carlos felt good as that woman over the.
I bet.
The line.
I bet. And like I said, I mean, Yuki 10th, yeah. Yuki Q3.
Yeah. So and he might finally be getting a driver into that second Red Bull who can handle it a little bit better.
Okay, yeah, he made it into Q3, but
he's still better than Lawson managed in his attempts.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, where was Lawson? Where did Lawson? Oh, yeah, 17th. Of course. Yeah, Q1 dropout.
Well, his teammate got to 12th, Isaac.
Yeah.
Still got that's what I mean. He got to Q2 and he's a frigging rookie.
Well, Isaac had after his little blip in Australia.
Oh,
he's come back really strong.
Yeah, he's fought back and he sort of decided, right, he's obviously realised he's got to sort of prove that that's not. Because let's be honest, the way things are going, he's got to fancy a chance of the top car.
Yeah.
You know, if Yuki doesn't perform and he can put a reasonable performance together.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
There's got to be a chance there, I would say.
The only way Hadjar will possibly get into that second seat will be he's going to have to start scoring points. He's going to have to be point scoring.
Next race. I'm just saying he's going to be in a position.
To be honest, this is early in the season, but I'm dreading Monza.
What?
One corner for Antonelli. I'm dreading it for him.
He'll be fine. Thing is, as I said back then, last year, it wasn't just him that went out in that corner. A few drivers had problems with that corner, including the safety car.
Well, yeah, but...
So you bring Bert's name into disrepute.
Actually got an appearance from him anyways, but we'll come on to that.
Did Aston Martin look good under the Bahrain lights?
I've said it. Sounds nice as well.
Sounds nice.
It's a lovely car, is that?
I mean, Leclerc seemed to hook it up.
Yeah.
Which... Yeah. I mean...
We know the Ferrari's probably not where they want it to be.
But the problem is, the Ferrari they were running into difficulties anyways because of the back end of Japan. So they had to run the car differently anyways.
We've got about an 8-foot thick rear plank on it just to make sure.
You know, Bahrain the track has never been resurfaced.
I know that surface is older than some of the drivers.
25 years? Something like that? 20, 25 years? Something like that?
Yeah, it's never been resurfaced.
Which is why it's so hard on the tyres.
I mean, anything else from qualifying that stood out?
No.
Not
David?
that jumps out to me. Obviously, the two main championship contenders, 6th and 7th, was something we probably weren't expecting coming into this.
No.
Nope.
Piastri just seemed to be in the right gear all weekend. He just seems to be on.
I think
Lando had been quick throughout the whole practice. You know. But when it comes to quality, he was first on P1, second P2.
and second.
So obviously still quick.
But I don't understand Lando. I mean, I saw some of the interviews and he seemed quite dejected again.
I'm going to come on to Lando a bit during the race and afterwards. I've got a couple of points with him to sort of bring up.
The thing is, though, with Lando,
I'm probably going to upset some people, but this is going to be.
He beats himself up if he doesn't do well, and he knows he does. You know, but he comes back strong. It's how you deal with it, you know, come the race day.
So,
and we'll get into that in a minute.
So basically, moving on to the race, obviously Russell and Antonelli had their
one place apiece
due, which they say 1 place penalties for failing to follow race director's instructions. Now, everybody knows it was because they went early during qualifying.
Yeah.
They went on the estimated, not the official resumption time, and it's like, okay, yeah, you may be failing to follow the race director's instructions, but how was that the driver's fault?
Yeah, but in a situation like that, you don't separate the driver from the team.
No. I mean, I think Bundle though actually said it should just be a fine. It won't be a place penalty. It should be just a fine.
Which it wasn't. It was a grid place penalty. Yeah, again, inconsistent. So, start of the race. Now, yeah. Lando made a oops, shall we say.
He was quick to spot it.
It was a misjudgment error, shall we say. But who was quick enough to spot it? Max. It's ridiculous. I mean, I suppose where Max was, he got a good view.
Yeah, but still, to spot that.
Yeah, but he probably could see the car.
You see, that actually showed clip from Max's.
Yeah, but don't forget, all that's from his halo, not from his driving position.
Yeah.
But
so,
even
Max has got 7 other different things he's doing about getting that car off the grid.
But yet spots Lando like
just rolling.
Like I say, it was an error on Lando's part, but he got served a penalty for it.
What, 5 seconds?
Yeah. Which he served. So, to be honest, Bahrain overall was definitely better than Suzuka. It was better than Suzuka last weekend.
Oh yeah,
by far.
That wasn't a difficult standard day, though.
I mean, it was an interesting race. There was plenty of battles going on all over, which was
plenty
good.
battles, and it was nice to see a situation where there wasn't a definite "this is your best strategy."
Yeah.
The safety car towards the end really spiced things up.
It did.
And we had, at one point, we assumed there was going to be 3 or 4 stoppers coming on. We had a real mix of.
And we had the alphabet come back for Ferrari.
Yeah.
Leclerc was.
Delta they got to by then.
Well, Leclerc wanted to do Delta. The team wouldn't allow him.
Bravo. They wanted a Bravo, but the team wanted Bravo.
He wanted Delta.
And it's like, okay, here we go.
Already. But did you notice how quick the first pit stop was?
For who?
How it means how few laps for the soft
No.
cars.
Who was the first pit stop? Without
Hulkenberg.
after 5 laps.
Yeah, but he was on soft.
He was over quite a lot.
So with quite a lot of them. Which was interesting, the fact that the soft tyre was, well, I was going to say the soft tyre wasn't really lasting, was it?
Are you sure?
Until they put it in George Russell's hands.
That's what I mean.
And Anthony's.
Yeah, I think that Russell had been taking tips off Albon there, to be honest. So, Lawson obviously got 15 seconds of penalties. Which is true, because he causing a collision. 2 collision causes.
Track limits were an issue again for the first time in a little while.
Yeah. Obviously, Doohan received 5-second time penalty for track limit infringements, and then Hulkenberg got disqualified for plankwear. But they were saying
euthanism.
Well, they were saying obviously with Bahrain, like we said, Bahrain's never been resurfaced. It'll be a bumpy track.
Oh, yeah. Good, hey, leave it like that. That's the kind of thing that gives you interest in.
Yeah. I don't think anybody wants it resurfaced, and that's, because it's still got that
Unless
it's still...
The only time it'll ever get patched or resurfaced is if big potholes appear, which, with the amount of traffic that probably goes around that racetrack, probably not an issue.
No.
I
mean, Antonelli overtake, he's done some brilliant overtakes. I'll give him that.
Which corner was it? Was it the corner before the DRS down?
No, so it was after the second DRS. Depends on how you look at it. Yeah. Coming out of turn 4, he had a few overtakes there.
Mm.
There was something about that corner he just seemed to like to have enough grip and power to get past him there. Obviously, for him to overtake Hamilton as well.
Yeah.
And I think he also overtook Max.
He seemed to be quite good at selling just the late lunch.
Yeah.
Mm. I mean, for anybody's fantasy team, Sainz is going to take a hit for. Anybody that's got Hulkenberg's going to take a hit on that as well. I don't...
Well, the point I was talking about, I'll get to it now.
I don't blame Sainz. We'll don't blame Williams for retiring Sainz's car because...
Did you see the hole in the sidewall?
Exactly, in the side pod, which caused the debris.
Safety car.
They were fucking slow to react.
They were slow to react, yes. And when they actually got out, nobody actually saw anybody on track clearing any debris.
No. Don't know what happened there. The marshals are usually pretty good. Like I say, it's just inconsistent. And yeah. Right, go on, David.
It's coming up to... Oh, so we're sort of getting into the nitty-gritty of this season now. And is Lando Norris throwing away a world championship? We seem to have, especially this weekend, there was just 1 or 2 small little errors.
Small errors?
Yeah, small errors. I mean, obviously the previous start, but there was locking up, trying to overtake Leclerc.
Yeah.
Now you've got Piastri there, who's just running beautifully at the moment. Now at the end of last season, we were going to be thinking this is going to be Lando's year. And I think if you look back at all the great championship runs that Max has done, that Hamilton has done, the seasons that they win, they don't make a lot of little mistakes. They don't make those small mistakes. Because those small mistakes cost you. Now, okay, he kind of salvaged it a little bit getting back to third, and he probably didn't do that much damage this weekend. But we've seen it in seasons gone past where, was it Singapore last year where he was leading and clipped the wall twice?
Yeah.
He just seems to... It's a similar thing to what Russell has a tendency to do.
Yeah.
They seem to buckle under pressure. Almost. Now, the point I was going to make is obviously, at the moment, if to ask from the outside, this is looking like Piastri's championship.
Yeah.
2 points. 2 points between separates Lando and Oscar at this point.
Yeah. Now, my thoughts on it is that I honestly think the two McLarens, if Norris doesn't sort this out and sort of stick a marker down, they just could take points off each other. I can see this either being Max's 5th or Russell's 1st. Just because the two McLarens are going to take the points off each other, and someone like Russell's going to consistently just plug away good finishes, couple of wins here and there. Well, before you know it, he's right there.
Well, as it stands, it's Lando at the top with 77, Oscar 74, Max on 69, Russell 63, and then back down to Leclerc that is only on 32. So top 4.
Top 4. Now we're very early in the season. We have to point that out.
Yeah, we are, but it's anybody's at this point.
Oh yeah. Hey, as things stand right now, Lawson has a chance of winning this championship, so anything's possible at this point.
You've got a chance.
No, but what I mean mathematically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, there is literally... But... No, needs to sort himself out, because if he keeps making these little mistakes, this letting the car creep forward, these lockups, that's going to cost him.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
that lockup cost him, in theory, cost him second.
Well, you could claim that the creeping the start did.
Yeah, creeping the start did. If he hadn't got
that 5-second penalty, he'd probably been clear of Russell. He could have had a chance on Piastri.
Yeah.
I actually think Piastri probably would have had the legs to keep him behind, but...
Oh, yeah.
He could have been right up there, and you never know. He could have forced Piastri into a mistake.
Yeah. I mean, you hear on the radio Piastri talking, and he's so calm.
Yeah.
No matter what situation he's in, he's just calm and focused.
Yeah, he does. He's amazing.
Well, everybody else around him is falling apart. He's just so calm and collective. He can tell him bad news and be, okay, no worries, carry on racing.
I mean, look at the restart. Look at the safety car restart.
Yeah.
Mm.
He was Alan in there. He was Alan in.
In theory.
Yeah, but the safety car.
That safety car lights.
Safety car went. Yeah, safety car lights went out late, didn't they?
I actually thought he left because he left pretty much into the last corner. I just thought he'd tried to hold him down that straight a bit longer.
No, as soon as that corner came up, he floored it. You can tell that's what I would have done. Back them all up, go into that last corner, and then just
fucked off.
It.
Yeah.
Then again, once again, Norris didn't read the situation and got basically mugged by the Ferraris.
Yeah.
Yep.
He
drove himself into a corner.
Hamilton got him on the restart, didn't he?
Yeah, because like I said, because he tried to go for a gap in round Leclerc and basically got boxed in.
And got mugged. Yeah.
And then obviously try and get the switch back on turn 4, so he got pushed out wide. And over to
anybody's going to do is, mate, if we were playing the game, that's what you'd do to somebody on the outside.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You run them off the track and a bit further.
But obviously he overtook it. Yeah, okay, he could have given that position back a little bit quicker.
I don't know.
And he wouldn't have
Don't
lost much
forget the big
time.
thing this year is the FIA. Well, last couple of years, the FIA are trying to let teams sort this out themselves.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, they did. He got the
Because if they
message.
sort it out themselves, then there's no fines, there's no
which is
Penalties.
understandable.
which I'm not.
But the problem is,
that's reasonable.
Lando made a mistake there. If he'd have crept it out a little bit longer, backed off, let him past, and got him within a DRS zone.
Well, that's what Bundle said. Let him go just before the DRS zone, and then be able to.
Yeah.
So Lando, he tripped himself up a little bit there. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, it was a good recovery drive by Norris, but
Like
he says he's not trying to concentrate on the championship, but I don't.
If you want the championship, you have to concentrate on it at some point.
Well, this is the thing. I don't believe it's true. When he says, "Oh, I'm not concentrating on the championship," and stuff like that, when I've heard him speak about it, I don't think that's true. I think that's a bit of mind games going on. Because he's got to be concentrating already.
I would say he is. I mean, obviously, he's left himself open, saying, obviously, at the end of last year, he turned around and said, this season's his.
Which what I said would probably come back and bite him in the ass. And it currently is. Because currently nibbling at his heels is his own sodding teammate.
Yeah.
And Oscar's not
I wouldn't say he's nibbling at his heels. I'd say he's got the upper hand right now. I know the points don't say that. I'm just saying in terms of
I know. Yeah, but this is but that in terms of what I'm meaning in points wise, Oscar's coming for him. Regardless of Oscar's performance has been just. I mean, I had my doubts about Piastri with his actions. The Alpine
I still
stuff.
think the actions, the way he did that, wasn't cricket.
No, it wasn't good.
But
I tell you something. If he'd have been at Alpine now, McLaren would have been fucked. Really? Because.
Well, you don't know who they'd have had in there at that point.
Yeah.
It's difficult to tell. They could have got Sainz. If the rest of the F1 had have fallen how it has, if it was Piastri had stayed at Alpine, they could have Sainz or somebody in that Williams.
Quite possibly. Sainz would have been in the Alpine, you mean? McLaren, you mean?
McLaren's not, yeah.
Confusing me now. But no, as it proved, Oscar's coming at McLaren. Yeah, he's okay. Australia was not good for him, but it wasn't his fault, so to speak. He was in a situation out of his control because Mother Nature had other plans. But since then,
I think Lando's also obviously putting so much pressure on himself about the championship. He's obviously, I know it's still early in the season, but he's got to think about next year. Who's he going to be driving for? His contract actually runs out this year.
That's Russell. Russell's contract runs out this year.
Is it? I thought it was Norris as well.
Norris is on like really long contract.
No, Norris is on a long contract. It's Russell's that runs out this year.
They've done the same with Piastri as well now. They both on like
they're both on long contracts.
My bad. I do apologise. But Russell's got to be thinking that as well. Russell's got to be thinking about that then.
Oh, Russell will be thinking about it. But I think Russell. I think Toto, if Russell doesn't put a foot wrong, if Russell's car does have mechanical gremlin, shall we say, and not caused by incidents caused by Russell, I think Toto will keep him. Especially if he keeps getting the results he is like now,
Hmm.
I think he'll be kept alongside Antonelli.
Yeah, I do as well.
They're doing well. I'll give them due. Obviously, Anthony, yes, very young, but I tell you what, he's holding his own in that rookie.
Oh,
And the thing that makes me laugh is the fact that, yeah, he's racing, but he's got to take his final exams.
Yeah.
Has he not been given a car by Mercedes that he can't
Yeah,
physically drive?
He can't.
For 3 years
He can't drive it yet.
because of the power and the rules of where he is. He's not allowed to drive for at least another 3 years.
He's not allowed to drive it till he's technically not allowed to drive it till he's 21.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he's allowed to throw a 1,000 horsepower F1 car around.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that was always Kimmy's thing was, yes, he's an F1 driver, but he didn't want to
Like his
defer
education.
from his education, which is understandable. Fair play for him.
Yeah, but can you imagine being one of Kimi Antonelli's classmates?
I'm not sure if he's driving instructor.
Yeah.
Think of the poor kid. Right now, what you need to do, look, pal, I've got this, all right. Fasten your seatbelt.
And that's the thing. It's like he's got the drive. He hasn't got a driving license, but yet he can drive an F1 car.
Which means he must have an FIA competition license.
Yeah, but
He can't drive. He's driving legally on the road. Because who else was like that last year?
A lot of the younger, I bet the first couple of years of Max and that were like that because he started very young, didn't he? So
yeah,
he's still the youngest ever winner, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah, I know he's not the youngest to lead a race.
No, I think Kimi got that accolade this year, didn't he?
Kimi got that.
Yep.
I don't know.
But
Well, I mean, if that video was to somewhat to be true, fair play to the lad. That thing I sent you on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean.
Kind of expected that, Norris. As I said. But no, fair play to Kimi. If that is to believed, fair play to Kimi. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, should we get back on race?
Well, I think we've covered most of the points, haven't we? So we've covered the.
You obviously Yuki scoring points again.
Hang on, here's a quick question for you both. Should Yuki have gotten a penalty for the collision with Sainz?
I would say no, because
No.
but then again, we all know my opinion. I'm against penalising drivers unless they've done something really, really stupid. Because
You mean like Lawson?
if you start penalising drivers because a move goes slightly wrong and they collide, drivers are going to stop making moves, and we don't want that.
I mean, I agree with Sainz's 10-second penalty he got.
Sainz got a penalty.
Sainz got a 10-second penalty for causing collision with Antonelli.
Which obviously doesn't mean you won't have to serve that. You won't have to serve that at Jeddah, will it? That.
Not sure. It was
It's
going
not-
to
Him
10.
DNFing, I'm not
Hang on,
too
I've
far.
got to say, it's not listed down here, so no, he shouldn't have to serve it because of the fact that he ended up non-classified because he DNF'd.
Yeah.
He did. I'm pretty certain he got a 10-second penalty for the collision with Antonelli going into turn 10 after the restart.
Yeah.
Well, who severely? I was going to say, who severely locked up? Was that Sainz locked up and somebody who nearly went into him?
What,
No,
turn 10? Sainz locked up and going into turn 10. He took out Antonelli, but obviously he then managed to sort of keep on the car Sainz went wide and off track. Obviously,
was it Antonelli or was it?
No,
was it Lawson?
No, it was Antonelli.
All right. Well, who did Lawson hit first then?
Everybody.
I don't think Lawson's going to last long, to be honest. His driving style's gone off the whack.
I don't think Red Bull don't exactly have anybody waiting in the wings, sort of thing, did he? He was their backup plan.
Because he got a further 10 seconds for causing another collision. Was that when he hit Sainz? Did he hit Sainz and cause that damage?
No, Yuki hit Sainz, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was it Yuki?
Well, Yuki collided with Sainz and did all that damage before the safety car.
That's what I said.
As we were saying, I wouldn't give a penalty. Like I say, I don't want us to be in a position where drivers get a penalty for every little attempt at a move. All you can do is stop drivers having a go.
Sainz has been handed a 10-second penalty for forcing another driver off track. That was from earlier when he was fighting Antonelli after the safety car restart. Lawson got a 5-second penalty for making contact with Stroll earlier on.
Yep.
Well, when did he get into Rob?
What was the 10-second for?
I am just trying to find.
Well, the 10-second will be another one, but it'll be because it was a 5 the first time. They made the next one bigger.
Yeah, but you got 15 seconds of penalties then.
Yeah, a 5 and a 10.
Is he?
Because
he was up there on the grid, but then all because of penalties, it dropped him back.
But say still not to the very back though.
No. I mean, I feel sorry for Bortoletto. He's really not.
Once again, the Sauber's not a great car, is he? That's not helping him.
No. Which makes it interesting. Why did only Hülkenberg get DQ'd and Bortoletto didn't? Perhaps they were running different ride heights then.
Could be. And 10 seconds for Lawson for causing a collision with Hülkenberg.
Oh dear.
You never know, because of their driving styles, Hülkenberg might like his car lower.
Yeah,
might be able to handle the car lower a bit better.
Which doesn't help him.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you're saying, why isn't Bortoletto? Well, it's like last weekend when the two Ferraris got disqualified, but actually for totally different reasons. You know, because different drivers have different styles. Sometimes
who was the plank last weekend? Was it Hamilton? And Leclerc.
Phrase that.
No, Hamilton was China.
Sorry, Leclerc was underweight.
Leclerc was underweight. Yeah. And it's
by
just
1 kilo, which somebody said to me, even though it doesn't sound a lot in F1 terms, 1 kilo is actually a fairly large amount.
So, yeah, I'm going to just move this on to the fantasy side of things, the F1 fantasy side of things, and then we'll make any final remarks for overall afterwards. Because I'm now I'm now curious. So just bear with me a second.
Does it bear with you?
Not using my jokes.
So let's just go to Bahrain.
You'll have to give me time, it's a long flight.
So we'll go from bottom to top. Somebody's still not changed Yuki out yet.
I told him.
So that's I mean, Sainz screwed them. Logan. Sainz screwed him.
Heinz, Hulkenberg, and Sauber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say though, fair play to Logan. He's the only one like me who has faith in Oscar.
Yeah, I might be making changes yet, boy.
Again?
Tempted.
What do you mean I've been changing after every race so
I
far?
forgot to.
Christ, I'm every time using up all my bloody transfer points.
Yeah, I forgot to do it.
Obviously, Alan lost out because of Sainz and Hulkenberg.
So
Yep.
Adam
scored all points all over.
Adam scored points all
points
round.
were just not, unfortunately, no high scorers.
No.
Yeah. Alan lost out Hulkenberg
Hulk and
and
Sainz.
Sainz. Ryan
Lost out
Sainz.
Sainz.
Simon didn't have a gun particularly.
He scored points all round. He was obviously not high scored ones.
No.
Shame.
Sainz. Is it only Sainz that let me down?
Yeah, it's trying to set you down.
Yeah.
Obviously, a couple of drivers not scoring high points for you.
Yeah, and then
I'm turning it round, slowly but surely.
so you had Oscar Antonelli, Damon Albon, Yuki, Racing Bulls, and
I'll tell you what though, Haas are actually one to look out for this year.
Has been a safe pair of hands for me because obviously I've spent a lot of money in a couple of places.
But overall, David managed to crawl himself up to 7th.
Hey.
Yeah, but I'm not a long way away from some of you guys either. Okay, you guys are still a couple hundred, but this little pack in front of me, I'm sort of not a million miles away from.
I mean, Alan's managed to overtake me.
I'd always been second.
Actually, no, he's put more of a gap on me, sorry.
I made 28 points there.
You're both now within 50 points of Simon.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
I can possibly see if David can play this right. David will come up. I think David can come up and join us. If he can play it right, I reckon he can. You could claw it back and come up to at least, come join the top 3.
I'm happy. I'm not making changes with him. I'm happy with what I've got.
I'm sort of not. So
I had to, didn't I, after the way things started?
You had to because you were in the shit.
Now whether it'll stay like this, I'm still messing around with things, but you only get so many transfers between races now.
Yeah.
So I'm having to make changes in
It's 2 changes between each race.
Yeah, and the other problem I've got is sort of like cost cap stuff. Money.
Yeah.
It's all right saying I've got 2.2 mil to play with.
Yeah, but that 2.2 million's not going to buy you a lot.
There's not a lot. I've tried taking out a couple of drivers, and I literally don't get left with enough for anyone a lot better in my book.
No.
I mean, if I do change anything, as much as it'll pay me to do it, would be Sainz. He's just not scoring points. So far this season, he's negative 16.
Who's that?
Sainz.
Okay.
I mean,
hell yeah.
if it, like I say, if I was making any changes, I think it.
I'm constantly I was going to say I'm constantly tweaking, and that sounds wrong somewhere down the
Possibly,
line. So,
I've got 2 changes I'm possibly going to make, but then if I make a certain change, I know it could come back and bite me in the ass.
I mean, Jack Doohan's technically -1 for the season overall right now. I'm just going through some of the. Hulkenberg's only scored 3.
Yeah. I mean, Alonso's -27 so far this year.
But problem is, well, that's what screwed David up. Think about it.
Yeah, but people like Lance Stroll scored 42.
Well, Hadjar's only actually scored 4 points the entire season so far.
I've told you before, I
is
still stand by that.
-9.
I don't know any point in history where Australia and taking two of the most experienced guys on the grid and they both let me down.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It proper screwed you, that.
But
Bad idea, actually.
we're on our way back.
So, yeah. So basically, have you got anything else you'd like to add before?
One thing.
Don't make me get the soapbox out.
No, I was slightly disappointed with the TV showing of it.
Oh,
Yes, I know there's a battle going on for second and third. I understand that.
They're not sure Piastri crossing the line.
Yeah. I just stick it in the small little box. I think that's a bit of disrespect for Piastri, who had a fantastic race.
Yeah.
Well, considering that, like, when Max crossed the line, they showed that. And they've showed others crossing the line. But yet Piastri didn't get, And and the thing is, and I don't think that'll please the shareholders of McLaren either, who are Bahrainian.
Or anybody watching in Australia.
Yeah. Because technically,
Mark Webber had something to say about it.
Because technically, Bahrain, was classed as a home race because of investors.
It's the best result they've ever had.
Oh, I do apologise. You're allowed to make 3 changes. Free transfers.
Yeah, you are. You're only allowed to make 3. You got anything to add, David?
All I was going to say is petition to prize that soapbox from your cold, dead hands in any means necessary.
You're not going to get it. And I don't care. You're still not going to get it on the 24th, so you can get screwed. The soapbox is going back under lock and key. You ain't getting it on the 24th, and you ain't getting it on whenever. You ain't getting it on thingy either. You ain't getting it on the 26th. It's going under lock and key right now. And he's gone quiet on me.
No, I'm listening.
Asshole. It was a better race, but I think it's the first time we've seen the safety car at Bahrain for a while.
It's only normally 20. It only had a 20% chance of being used.
Yeah. But other than that, it was a better race, a more reasonable time, but there was quite a lot of action.
Yeah.
There was a lot of action going on. Yeah. Right. Anything else you want to add quickly? No?
No.
Nope.
Okay. So, obviously, here's your timings for Saudi Arabia on UK time. 18th of April, practice 1, 2:30 till 3:30, which I'll screw David up. Practice 2 is...
More than just want to see it.
Exactly. 18th, 6 till 7. Practice 3 is on the 19th, 2:30 till 3:30. Qualifying is also on the 19th at 6 till 7. Bar any incidents, shall we say. And obviously, 20th of April for the race at 6 p.m. Well, I'm going to ask you one thing, though. Do you reckon we'll see rookie mistakes?
More than likely. You reckon we'll see mistakes from experienced guys? More than likely.
Probably. So, obviously, this podcast will be out on, as you know, are usually out on a Wednesday at 3. That's still going to be the case. Obviously, thank you to everybody for listening. If you do want to get involved with the Fantasy League, don't forget it is above the right at the top of the podcast thing. Obviously, thank you to Alan and David for joining.
You're welcome as
Pleasure.
always.
Don't forget to go and check out the our YouTube channel. Link is also above. And we shall see you for the next one. So until then.
Adios, amigos.
Later, folks.
Goodbye for now.